listening to Pop This, the podcast where three women talk about pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen, Andrea Gin, and Andrea Warner.
Okay, so I just got back from a little vacation. We drove to the Oregon coast. And for anyone who travels, likes to take their dogs with them on vacation, the Oregon coast is amazing because basically the beaches are off leash.
Wow.
I mean, you have to be careful because, like when the tide's coming in, it is the ocean. So you don't want small
your poor
dogs
little friend washed out to sea. Yeah,
exactly. God. So you have to be cautious, but like when it's low tide, it's just amazing. But we stayed at this. It's basically like the coast is full of these cute little inns, and like they're all kind of small. And the one that we were staying at, I had the experience of signing out a DVD to watch. Like it was.
Oh my gosh.
1996.
Wow.
It's someone's job at this inn to curate a collection of DVDs, write up the titles and descriptions and make a PDF and update the PDF with file numbers. Like they have a filing system.
Incredible.
And to track the DVDs in a system, just like Blockbuster, you're only allowed 2 DVDs at a time, and you have to return them by 3 p.m. the next day. And you have to go to the front desk and sign them out. And it was a real blast from the past because they give you some microwave popcorn and some cookies and a DVD. And you're just set for the night because places like Cannon Beach basically close at 8.
Yeah.
on weekdays. And at this time of year, the beach towns are pretty deserted as well. But yeah,
what did you rent? What did you take out?
Okay, here's the thing.
Oh,
the 2 major movies about Oregon that you think that they would have in their DVD collection, they did not have, namely
Gus Van Sant?
The Goonies.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Stand By Me.
Oh,
okay. I didn't know that was in Oregon. I was thinking of Gus Van Sant movies are always what's that one? The Idaho. What's
My Own Private Idaho?
My Own Private Idaho. All of a sudden I wanted to sing it. Sorry. And Drugstore Cowboy. I think those are all set in Portland.
Are they?
Yeah.
We watched the Nicolas Cage movie Pig that's set in Portland.
Oh my God.
Which was actually pretty good.
Amazing.
It's a strange, weird movie. But if you just go with it, it's pretty good, actually. It's one of Nicolas Cage's best performances, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, and sort of set in the end.
You've seen Face Off, because that's a brilliant performance. Okay,
well, I mean, second to Face Off.
Okay.
Are we doing our favorite Nicolas Cage performances now? Because I'll tell you, National Treasure really meant a lot to me.
Oh, yeah, that one's good too. You're right.
I like Moonstruck as well.
Oh, Moonstruck is a good one. And I've watched the more recent one, Mandy. It was quite good.
Oh, intriguing.
But I've came to realize through this experience, because there's no streaming media available in the hotel. It was either their regular TV or sign out a DVD, that I kind of enjoy having limited choices.
Yes,
it makes things
I agree
easier.
with you. Yeah, 100%.
It makes things way, way easier. It's these things, I'm interested in these 3 channels on the TV, and they're showing this cycle of movies, or I have these 30 DVDs to choose from. And that's it.
I gotta say, your pictures of you guys in Franklin on the beach felt like a incredible advertisement for coastal Oregon.
Yeah,
I feel like they should be paying you for just frolic in the chilly sun of
it snowed while we were there, which was
wasn't there a massive snowstorm that shut down the airport and so yeah.
But the other discovery we made is that Astoria, which is where the Goonies is set, is like this place where people who are priced out of Portland have started moving to. And so it's become like a seemingly bit of a creative hub with like a hipster hotel opening, like some breweries and people with like beanies and beards walking around. Has like,
oh man, the beanie and beard crowd. You found a second enclave. Amazing.
If they're wearing plaid, it's over for Astoria.
Well, and but it still maintains this charm of being. It's like a fishing industry town. And while we were there, they were having this festival called the Fisher Poets, where like fishermen read poetry that they've written, and they have it at all these little venues in town. And it just seemed very magical and charming. Like we heard it on the local radio station at Cannon Beach. And it was so nice. But yeah, like Astoria, and just like it's a must stop if you're driving down the Oregon coast or anywhere around Portland.
I've been. It's beautiful. I got propositioned by a fisherman in Bend, Oregon.
Wow.
At a bowling alley with my kids, and
amazing.
He came by and he said, "Heard you wanted to go out and do some fishing." And I guess I was, well, sort of, yeah. Well, I could take you out on the boat tomorrow if you want. And I said, "Oh, no, that's okay. Thank you, though. That's very kind." And he said, "And just wanted to let you know, I don't mind kids."
Amazing. Honestly? Wow. Wow. You know that line has worked with other single moms, right? Like
yes,
that,
exactly.
Like
yeah.
sure.
I was like, wow, that was really fast, but also I appreciate exactly.
Pretty direct.
Thing. So I'll always remember my time in Bend, Oregon at the bowling alley.
And I gotta say, if I was single, I am heading to a fisherman's poetry festival.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a very specific overlap of my interests. Burly fishermen and poetry? Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
sign me up.
What I'm saying is that at this point in time, when Astoria is just like at the beginning of what is seemingly like people moving there, it still is so charming. It has all these like vintage antique stores. It has like you'll eat the best smoked fish you'll ever have in your life there. And but at the same time as all these like vintage charms that it has like really cute, great little restaurants where like, people with foodies from Portland have moved to open like hole in the wall restaurants because it's affordable there. And
cool.
So yeah, it's just at this like really nice stage where it still maintains its original charm, but also has a lot of creatives moving there, starting things.
And we, I know you were earlier. There was mentioned that your photos made it look like you were working for the Portland or the Oregon Tourism Board. Just another reminder that this is not being paid for by anyone in Oregon at all. We have no sponsorship.
No,
just so you know.
But go there for the smoked fish.
Pure joy. Smoked fish.
I love smoked fish, and it's the Johansson's Smokehouse has the best. It's a like Finnish family who moved there like 100 years ago and started the smokehouse. Have been like smoking fish ever since the 1920s in the same way, and it's the best fish you'll ever eat. They're not sponsoring us either.
We used to go to Portland like a lot pre-pandemic, and we haven't been for at least 4 years, maybe longer. And we finally bought. We dared to buy like outdoor concert tickets in Portland for June, and I'm so excited.
That'll be a great time to go.
Now I want to add on 2 days so that we can go spend some time in Astoria.
Yeah,
so great work.
Kidding.
You know what? Even though you're not working for them, it worked on me.
Yeah, it worked on me as well. I'll head down there.
But Portland has all these great like food pods because they have like such a food truck culture there.
I like that.
They're like they have like when they gather like 6 or 8 food trucks in one area and set up like
Yep.
picnic tables and umbrellas and stuff, like, and little fire pits. It's so lovely. You can just eat only in food trucks for your entire stay. Like, it's great.
Yeah, actually one of my favorite I can't even, it's weird, but like one of my favorite Peruvian restaurants is a food truck in Portland. And it's just delicious Peruvian chicken and these like crispy little potatoes that are so tasty, and then they have these sauces that go with. Oh my god, it's
What makes Peruvian food so Peruvian?
Great question. I mean, I gotta say, my favorite restaurant in Vancouver for a long time was Chicha. It is now no longer a restaurant, unfortunately, and that was Peruvian food. And so I don't know much about what like necessarily like makes Peruvian food Peruvian, but they had these sauces that like they had an orange sauce and a green sauce. Oh my god, it was so good. And they had these like empanadas that were delicious, and they did like seafood that was really tasty, and it was just like really like thoughtfully prepared food that was still simple and like really clean flavors, if that makes sense. Like it wasn't like it was like layered with 400 things, or if it was layered with 400 things, they all went together and it became like, a nice little symphony. It didn't feel like just like a cacophony.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a really nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I mean, this is not the most like subtle pivot, but like I do think that some of these movies that we're going to talk about in this episode also work as like tourism destination invitations, but in very specific ways.
Oh wow, you had to
Not
really
like-
stretch. Oh wow.
Not perfect, but some of them are really beautiful, even if really terrible things happen in the places where they're set. I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
I'm Andrea Gin.
And we are, Pop This. You're listening to Pop This. And we're talking about the Oscars.
We're doing our annual Oscars episode.
Yay!
I know. It's wild to like think about how long we've been talking about the Oscars.
And how it always
like,
feels fresh, but yet,
Stale?
Yeah. Predictable, I
fresh.
guess I was going with, but stale
Sure.
too.
No, predictable is a good word too. Like it does. I guess sometimes the years that it feels like there's some of the years have been unsurprising but terrible in predictable ways. Some of the years have been pleasant surprises. That's nice, Last year's was
Oh, that was quite an event.
that was a year ago. The slap was a year ago.
That doesn't feel right. That it feels like it was just the other day. It really does. A year ago, because yeah. I mean, I'm not disbelieving you. I know it's true. So
I honestly am kind of like, did I make that up? Was that a different awards show? Because it feels more recent.
yeah, it does. I know.
But
I think it's because it never
at
really
the Oscars, right?
it never really had any sort of closure to go with it. It just sort of happened, and
That's
then it
true.
just kind of lingered. It just lingered in the pop culture atmosphere for a long time without any sort of resolution.
Well, I guess they have to like have the next one in order to put to tie it off, Like they attempted to sort of like, this is going to sound gross, but like cauterize it. Like there was like Will Smith's apology, and then they banned him, and then Chris Rock was like whatevs, and it has just sort of like sat out there until they have another. If we had Oscars every 6 months, we would be like past it.
That's true.
But because like we're coming up to it, and now everyone's gonna like talk about it again and unpack it and like blah blah blah. Like,
But the tradition.
again-
So he's been banned permanently from the Academy Awards, or what?
I mean, allegedly for 10 years, but like I don't know that
Because the
to
tradition
me
is
seems-
that the best actor from last year gives the best actress for this
Oh,
year.
that's true.
And the best
Yeah.
actress, that's the tradition. So
Yeah.
I guess that won't be happening this year.
One
I mean,
wouldn't think so.
No.
like I can also see them on some level like walking back the banning, because I think
Yeah,
that
I
that
know.
was kind of like a weird knee-jerk kind of thing that, like, I don't know, man. Anyway, regardless, we're at that time again.
We are.
Yes.
And it's quite a cornucopia of movies for Best Picture, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Like, on some level, this is a year that I am very excited about if it goes the way I want it to.
Yeah. But at the same time, I've learned to just lower my hopes for the
Yes,
Oscars.
it's always good to
'Cause
do
it-
that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, there's always a letdown. And
Yeah.
I just want to be like prepared for that.
Oh, yeah. I don't have like actual faith in most of the voting that is going to happen, because we've seen how like we've seen very specific people be overlooked this year. And I don't think they should have been. And then like other folks get nominations that I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
How?
Well,
Who?
I mean, I guess the most talked about example of it has been the Andrea Riseborough nomination for To Leslie. as
Yeah,
being,
that is
like,
a
surprise.
fascinating story, that one.
Yeah.
She was the star of Mandy with Nicolas Cage. To bring it full circle.
Did not know that. Amazing.
Yeah.
So one of you watched it, right?
I have
No,
not
I
seen
haven't.
it. No.
I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
okay. I thought one of
No.
us had watched it. Okay.
No.
I mean, I do want to watch it because I have heard great things about her performance, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But the orchestrated, you can't call it grassroots when it's millionaires coming out for you. But in a
That's
Hollywood
true.
grassroots campaign, when it's every major actress and especially every major white actress coming to bat to talk about how this performance is the performance to end all performances. Like I'm excited on certain levels because I like it when independent films get into the mix,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that that's important. But like, it does not sit well when you think about can you see this group of people coming together and activating their powers in support of Viola Davis, in support of Angela Bassett, in support of like lesser known Black actresses. Like
Mm-hmm.
they weren't coming together for Taylor Russell, who
Mhm.
has earned these huge reviews and, you know, and acclaim for her playing a cannibal. Just like it.
Yeah.
Who do people put their money and their power and their star power behind? And I think we've seen that answered here, and it's like proof positive, and that sucks. And it also sucks because like it's probably like an excellent performance, and you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
It was just also quite enlightening to sort of be made to think about the process behind voting for the Oscars and how it is, you know, actors vote for actors, directors vote for
Mhm.
directors. And I never really thought about that before. And how, you know, like I was reading this article about, it's just like, it is a real Hollywood insiders game, like the Oscars. It's like everybody knows everybody in Hollywood. And
Yeah.
the Oscars voters, like they're just a community, like a society of people that all hang out together. And it's kind of like they're crowning one of their friends to win an Oscar.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah. And so like,
But at the same time, it feels like an elusive club that only some of them get invited to. That's
For sure.
And that's the strange, magical part of it. Like someone like a Jamie Lee Curtis, who you would think is like, you know, A-list on, you know, Hollywood royalty she's from. And yet the way I follow her on Instagram, the absolute delight she took out of being nominated made me think this is a weird, weird thing. Even in a town with everyone who knows each other, to get one of these seems like it's so elusive.
And I think like the voting element of it, and like who you have in your corner and who you don't have in your corner, like all of that coming into such stark visibility this year. It also made me think about like just so there's three things I just want to like put out there. So thinking about like I vote for the Juno Awards
So do I.
And I've never received an email from an artist or anybody being like, because I mean, they don't know who votes in what categories. And I think that that's important. But I've never received an email from an artist being like, hey, I don't know if you're, whatever, or a publicist or whatever. Like, great. That's the first thing I want to say. Second thing I say, I'm also on the Polaris Music Prize. And I have in the past had like publicists be like, hey, just want to put these albums into consideration. This is the first year that a random musician who we don't know each other very well has like slid into my DMs and been like, hey, I want you to think about this for like the Polaris Prize and like think about my record or whatever. And I was like, all right, that's strange. And then I'm just gonna like just tiny humble brag for a second. I got nominated for something last week and I didn't realize that it was like a voting thing. And I had someone like email me and be like, oh, I'm really excited to vote for you. And I was like, oh my God, do I have to, like, I didn't think about it, but is this something I'm expected to campaign for? I had no idea.
Yeah.
And you can pay to join and become a voting member. And I was like, is this important enough for me to like pay and join and vote for myself? Like, am I that person? Turns out I'm not. I've decided not to do that. But like, I just like the fact that it's like an option, like it was just, so there's like such a convoluted and yet still very simple and kind of like scamminess to all awards that I know and I know and I am complicit in, and yet I still get very excited about seeing people get nominated, seeing people win, and also the rare occasion of being like acknowledged myself. I love it all, and I'm so guilty of all of it, and also super disgusted by all of it too.
Are you like, whose DMs are you sliding into in the next little while?
That's the thing. I haven't yet, but like, am I going to be that person? Probably not if I'm not going to pay my own $160. Like I'm probably, whatever. But like, holy crap. Like, it's just such a weird little world. It
is the award season. And then it's when they're on that circuit too, right?
Yes.
The Golden Globes and then the SAG Awards and then Oscars. It's like quite a season.
Like, the number of dresses people have to have, the number of outfits, the amount of flying, the number of people who keep getting COVID, and then it's
so much. And like,
so much.
I don't know, like if you're not a person with enough resources to have a stylist and, a powerful stylist helping you, like, I don't know how you would face going to any of those events. Because it's just like so many resources are poured into presenting this one person on the red carpet. It's mind-boggling.
It's staggering. It is, really is. And the stylists are so busy. I follow a couple of them on Instagram, Brad Goreski and Carla Welsh, and they are like pumping out outfits for different celebrities. I mean, it's a busy job to keep up with I don't even know how you do one, let alone 4 or 5 for one award show. And keeping in mind that each person wants to have their own look, the whole thing. It seems like a tremendous
I
amount
know,
of
like
work.
how do they keep people from accidentally wearing the same dress?
Right? Yeah.
Like they have to do all
and
this
looking the same.
Yeah, negotiation with the designers and stuff, and it's a huge job.
Yeah. It is. And then the makeup, the hair, the jewelry, it's just so much. And I love it all, by the way. I just wanted to mention.
I know.
Just as an aside.
That's the thing. It's too much, and yet I love it.
I know.
I think I love it.
I do.
Like, I think this year I'm definitely planning on watching. I mean, I honestly hadn't been going to watch last year and then did and was like, oh, remember Thursday night's must-see TV? That's what happened at the Oscars last year. And I'm showing up for more this year, I gotta say.
Oh, I've never missed one. As long as I've been sentient. I'm sure I've never
Who's who's been your favorite red carpet star so far this season?
That is a really good question. I'm trying to think of all of the outfits that I've seen. I saw Amy Poehler, I thought, looking quite elegant the other night for the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, she looked beautiful.
yeah.
Quinta Brunson has been killing it on all the red carpets. Like, she's
Yes.
just been
Yeah.
incredible.
I watched the NAACP Awards last week as like one of the channels they had in the inn.
Oh, okay.
And Queen Latifah totally slayed it. Like she wore like
Gorgeous, right?
Wow.
yeah, so many outfits and just gorgeous. Like I was just like each one was better than the last kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought she looked beautiful. Like again and again and again. I've been enjoying Aubrey Plaza's looks on the red carpets. Like those have been really fun.
Michelle Yeoh looks gorgeous
incredible.
and everything.
Yeah.
She's so elegant. Like she's the definition of elegance.
Yeah.
Well, she's
And Viola
what is she,
Davis,
a
like,
former Miss, what is it? Miss what? was she?
Malaysia.
Miss Malaysia.
Oh.
There you go. So, yeah, she had a head start.
But yeah, Viola Davis has looked incredible, like just nonstop, and like such a great use of color all the time too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have forgotten to
Yeah.
go through my Go Fug Yourself girls and watch the outfits. I have, I've been, and now I won't get to do the rundown of the looks on TikTok because I've deleted that app from my phone. So
you can still go to it on your like computer. Because I don't have TikTok either, and I don't use an app, but people would send me stuff all the time.
fair. Okay. I'll remember
So
that.
you can go look at those at least.
I'll look
Angela
at them.
Bassett has also been killing it.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Incredible. Incredible. I love it all. Anyway, not the hugest surprise, but no women directors in the best director category, even though several would have been extremely qualified for it this year.
yeah.
I don't really understand when I see this split happen. How does a picture get nominated for Best Picture and not Best Director? Like, how does that happen? If you think it's good enough for Best Picture, presumably you must think the director had something to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, this has happened like a bit, I think, throughout history, but I agree with you. Like, at the very least, have the nomination. You don't have to give the same award to the same people. Like, that's, but yeah, at least have them nominated. Like, my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, Sarah Polley, like, it was so much her movie, Women Talking,
Mhm, exactly. Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
it does seem very confusing that she didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
But-
And she definitely deserved it too.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
we've
it
seen the
just-
film. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't understand. Like some years it seems like there's like a really concerted effort to be like to just be inclusive in these categories and make sure like it's just not all white men getting nominated for things. And then it seems like it lasts for like a couple of cycles and then it just goes back to how it was before.
Well, and I feel like sometimes, like, expanding a category like Best Picture to 10 and then not at least expanding, not that you can't nominate women in a category of 5, but if we think about like the inherent sexism of how the Academy will vote and the white supremacy of how the Academy will vote, I would presume that there would need to be like a few extra spots. If you're going to have 10 for Best Picture, you need, I think, at least 8 to 10 for Best Director. I'm not saying every other category needs to be that expansive, but like you're absolutely setting people up to then not be considered for Best Director.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're going to cut women and racialized people first.
Yeah.
I just
So there
wanted
were-
to.
I don't like
sorry.
it.
Were there any
Sorry, I was just going to say I don't like it.
What were the biggest surprises to you, or like that did or didn't get nominated for Best Picture?
I got to be honest and say I don't think that there was. I mean, the biggest surprise to me was seeing Top Gun in there for Best Picture. But I don't think in particular, thought there was anything missing when there's 10 films. I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people would have trouble even mentioning or remembering 10 films throughout the year.
I think there's one that like is very noticeably missing. And I think we'll all agree on this actually, is that The Woman King received no Oscar nominations. It had Critics' Choice, BAFTA, SAG noms. Like it won awards. Like for it to be completely excluded from the conversation is very I mean, it's not surprising in the way that we've seen Hollywood, acknowledge Black excellence at the Academy. And I know that we haven't done the film yet, and I'm really looking forward to it when we can. We haven't been going to theaters very much, and it hasn't been streaming, but it will be hopefully, I think, soon. Or maybe it's online like right now. Anyway, I'm very much looking forward to it because I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. It's been so well received. Everyone has been very excited about it that like I've been watching online react to it and feel sort of, just like moved by Viola Davis's performance and Gina Prince Blythewood and her direction. Like that has been talked about so much. And anyway, I think that is like the biggest missing piece for me at this awards.
Agreed.
I was thrilled as most people to see Women Talking nominated, I have to say, for Best Picture. That's quite extraordinary. And I just wanted to read something really quickly. There was an interview I was reading with Sarah Polley in Vanity Fair today. Mm-hmm. Just this little bit. I don't know what the right reaction is, but you guys will have it for me in just a minute. Sarah Polley has flown into the U.S. from her home in Toronto a lot lately, and in that new routine has experienced what she calls her biggest eye-opener of award season. She'd walk up to a customs official literally every time, a man, and state her purpose of travel, an event for her movie. He'd ask her what it was, and she'd reveal the title, Women Talking. Cue the eye rolls. The "I don't need any more of that in my life" groans. After what felt like 20 instances, Polly recalls, I kind of snapped at Logan Airport in Boston. I just went, if I told you there was a movie called 12 Angry Men, would you go and see it? And he was like, maybe. I said, well, I just want you to sit with that. He was like, do you want to have a conversation? I said, no, I want to get into the country. I just want you to sit with that. I was like yelling as I kept walking, and I just went.
Wow. Good for her.
Yep. I get that. I get that.
I was just so upset for her on her behalf, just imagining how many every time she had to say that, every time.
I gotta say, like the number of people who have literally said to me and men over and over and over again in response to anything I write that they perceive as gendered female or like specifically like women centric. And they're like, oh, I can't wait to tell my wife or my sister or my mother. I bet my grandmother would be really interested in it. As if they could not like. So I take like I don't like. I know where Sarah Polley is coming from, and a lot. Honestly, that's like a lot of like. I think what went into when all of us like were talking about this podcast originally, and originally it was like the subtitle was like, or the tagline was like 2 women talking. Obviously now it's 3. But it shouldn't have felt subversive in 2015. It shouldn't still feel mildly subversive in 2023, and yet it does because we know. We know
because we know
the
women
number.
Talking. Yeah,
I love it when like men tell us that they listen to it.
Yeah.
They listen to our podcast without qualifying it as like, oh, my wife listens and sometimes I do too.
Yeah, I know. It's
okay.
Oh,
it's like the opposite of a wife guy, buddy.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you a wife guy. That just makes you like a insecure, obnoxiously insecure man.
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry to have brought a downer to that, but I just
No. That was
we needed
valid
to hear
and
that.
important.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. We needed to hear that. And so back to my original point was I was very excited to see that nominated. So that was I thought very good news.
Yeah. But so
Yeah.
which film do you think will win Best Picture? Like putting all of your feelings aside and keeping in mind that the Oscars has a history of disappointment.
I think it's going to be the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to win Best Picture.
It feels like an
I think
Oscar
it
winning
could.
picture.
I also, I loved it a lot, but like I you know, I think
it's
there's
about
a
men
chance it
and
could
men problems. So it's
it's
men
but you
talking,
know-
but it's considered better art because it's men talking rather than women talking.
Well, I agree with you, and I think that that's actually kind of like one of the things that fascinates me about it, and the idea that it's called the Banshees of Inisherin, because Banshee is like historically this like meant to invoke like screaming women who are like make horrible sounds and like cursed sort of like pains in the butt, and there's a reading of this film that like these two men, the Banshees of Inisherin, are like behaving just very, very typically male, but also too sensitive and like too typically like skewing women. And like, I don't know, this movie fascinates me. I would love to talk about it till the end of the earth. I don't want it to win the award. I want it to be Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, but that's not what the question was. The question was, what do you think is going to win?
Oh, I think Elvis actually probably is going to win.
Oh,
really?
Okay. All right.
I think it might.
I think he'll win Best Actor.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Everything Everywhere is just like, because it's gotten a lot of awards so far. And I know it's like setting everyone up to be disappointed at the Oscars because that's what happens at the Oscars. But to me,
it's just like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, to me, it's just like, it really sticks out on this list because it is such a weird movie, but brilliant. And I think it's like potentially like the most influential movie on this list in terms of how, up and coming younger filmmakers are going to take ideas from this and run with it. And it's a story that's not only like a visual masterpiece with like ideas about like nihilism and everything bagels. And, but it's just got at the heart of it, this like super moving mother-daughter story that's as old as time. Right. And it's, I don't know. It's just like, to me, this like brilliant combination of so many things and the strangest movie on the list. And so, like, I hope it wins, but I also know I'm being set up to be super disappointed on Oscar night.
I wanted to win so desperately. I think it is the most innovative of anything that's been nominated like this year. It's so interesting. It like has all of the big, deeply like affecting and emotional moments. Like the fact that you can blow my mind with a scene between two rocks with googly eyes and make me
Cry,
weep, weep, and yet also like invent hot dog fingers, like what, and give us like these like sapphic love stories and these like intense sort of battle scenes, and then these like tributes within the film to Wong Kar-wai, and like I just like, oh my god, like it's incredible, it's just genius, and I know I'm gonna be devastated when it doesn't win, but I want it to win.
I want it to win.
But I think like All Quiet on the Western Front is gonna win.
Oh,
like it's gonna
be
well, it's gonna be something that's like that crushing, but everyone will be like, oh yeah, that's totally an Oscar movie.
That reinforced like toxic masculinity. Yeah.
Or
I also have quite a soft spot for Tar now that we've seen that. I really
really your fondness for this movie has grown. I guess Interesting.
I love it. You just like just a gentle left hook, Lisa. That's
I know.
what that. Oh my god! All right, tell me more. I want to hear about it.
Well, I just thought it was quite a statement about art. It had, which I also know that the Academy Awards love self-referential
That's true.
things. That's kind of their deal, which is why I thought that they would like Elvis too, because it has to do with them. It has to do with the travails of being a performer and that kind of theme that they really like. So, and I thought that it just was it had like almost like a twist in it, and
Yeah.
so I thought
it did. It really did.
It really
So,
did.
but-
So I was surprised by it.
What does this mean about your feelings around Kate Blanchett?
Right? Yeah. Complicated. It's very, very complicated. I still maintain she feels very actory, but I enjoyed this performance because it was actory. She was she was playing a part even in the real life of this character. This character was playing a part, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no argument there. It's definitely
Have either of
a
you
part.
have either of you seen Triangle of Sadness?
No, I think you're the only one. I haven't seen it
I have
yet.
not.
I am
Yeah.
still like a little scarred by it. I saw it like this is a few weeks ago now, and it's just like it just hangs over me. Like there's some really it's brilliant in its own way. It's an amazing story that we haven't seen on film before, and in a lot of ways it makes you feel amazing inside, and a lot of ways it's just literal buckets of vomit everywhere for much of the movie. Yeah, so
Incredible.
it's
Incredible.
Is it streaming now, or did you go to the theater?
it's streaming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did anybody see, like, I'm not going to ever, but did anybody see the new Avatar?
No
No.
interest. No.
Yeah,
No interest
I
at all.
I didn't even see the first Avatar.
I did, and I
saw
regret
it, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Regretted it immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hate it so much.
Yeah. No, I have no interest at all. Zip.
You did watch Elvis?
Because I like Baz Luhrmann movies. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm gonna watch it at some point.
Yeah. I mean, Austin Butler is quite impressive in his performance as Elvis. Like I can see why he got nominated for Best Actor. But strangely, like I wasn't that moved by the movie as a whole, like by the story. I'm not sure why. It was visually it's visually nice to watch, but the story is not that gripping.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Nothing about it really compels me, but I have heard good things about his performance, so I will give it a try. I also haven't been that drawn to The Fabelmans.
I've seen that.
Did you like it?
It was fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was a fine movie. I don't know if I would consider it Best Picture worthy. I think it was again, self-referential. This is Steven Spielberg's life mostly, right?
Yeah.
And how he became a filmmaker. So there are scenes of him as a young camera-obsessed boy, and they might like that. It was fine. The performances are very good, but on the whole, it didn't blow me away. Sorry, Steven Spielberg, if you're listening.
Well, but that's like another, like, I feel like that's another one that could sneak in there because, like, people just want to, like, he hasn't had an award for a long time, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Well, in a million
Carlos
years,
was-
did anyone see Coda winning Best Picture last year? And no way. In no way did I see that happening.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
why
that's true.
it's going to be something out of left field.
Yeah.
What about Best Actress?
Well,
Did anyone see Blonde?
no, and I think it was.
No.
I don't
ripped
think I ever
apart.
will either.
No.
Yeah.
I think we're all hoping. We all know what we're hoping for Best
Yeah.
Actress. Yes.
Michelle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it goes to Michelle. Like,
Me too.
I feel like it's only in like Best Picture where there's always like a huge letdown, but like the other categories are a little bit more consistent with what happens earlier in the award season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully that bodes well for Michelle.
I hope so too.
I'm leaning toward thinking Kate Blanchett might win it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sort of how I'm
I wouldn't be
thinking.
surprised.
Yeah.
But
What about best? Sorry, go ahead.
oh, you were going to move to Best Actor?
I mean,
I think
I
it's
do
between
think it's a
Colin
good
and Austin. That's who I think it's between.
yeah, I think it's a good
Yeah.
Colin Farrell performance.
Mhm.
But I know there's a lot of love for Brendan Fraser, and I like Brendan Fraser too. But I cannot abide by The Whale. That's premise. It's
Mhm.
fat suits. It's the whole concept of it. I just cannot do it. It is wild to me. I shouldn't be surprised. People love inspiration porn and desperation porn and disability porn. So, whatever. But and hating fat people. But anyway.
Well, the Oscars are kind of like that. You're right. He could win for that all those reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And also his personal comeback story.
Yeah,
like
that's the
a
thing.
personal
I'm on board
comeback.
for his
Yeah.
I'm on board for his personal comeback story.
Mhm.
I am not pleased about the way the comeback is being achieved.
Agreed.
Or what it actually costs to real fat people. Anyway,
Have either of you seen After Sun yet?
No,
I
you?
have not.
I
No.
watched it. It's a beautiful, heartbreaking movie. Paul Mescal is excellent in it. Yeah, it's just kind of like a daughter looking back on memories of her dad, who I think were to believe committed suicide. But she sort of has these like video footage of their last vacation together. And so it's a really well done, like nice and moving film. And you should definitely see that one. It's
Okay,
Okay.
I will.
yeah, very
Cool.
moving.
And now we're on to the supporting roles.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
How did Colin get upgraded to leading and Brendan get put in supporting?
Is it a time issue? Do they actually have a stopwatch? Like, I wondered that as well.
It's
Yeah, I have
it's
no idea.
wild. How are they not both leading men of that film? Is it because Colin's character is the one who pursues so hard? Is it just he's so thirsty, his character, that thereby he gets the leading role nom? And did Brendan agree to supporting so that Colin could he's
Yeah.
lifting his buddy up? I'm
Is there some
Curious.
rule that you can't have two people nominated from the same movie for leading role?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because in the best supporting actress category, we've got two people from Everything Everywhere All at Once. So,
Well, in the best supporting actor, we have two people from Banshees.
oh, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm just so curious just about the Brendan Colin split.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I think it doesn't matter because Kihei Kwan is gonna. I feel
I hope
like
it's
he has
Kihei
a strong
Kwan. I hope-
case.
yeah.
I think he has a really yes.
He's been winning a lot leading up to this, so
Yeah.
he feels like he has a pretty strong case and well deserved.
Yeah.
It's the most
Now, that's
amazing
a comeback story that I can
story.
really get behind. That's
Have you
a
read
comeback story.
any of the interviews where he's talked about not acting for I don't know, 40 years and then
Yeah.
deciding to give it one last shot and having
Yeah.
the Daniels remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a good story.
It's wonderful. I thought Angela Bassett was one of the best parts of Black Panther Wakanda
Mhm.
Forever.
Mhm.
And I don't want to do spoilers, but I love that character. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that movie too. And
Yeah.
It was great. Elements of it were great. Part of it, other elements, I was like, God, it was so sad. It
Yeah,
was
I
just
know.
so
It's
Yeah.
so
sad.
sad. Agreed. Yeah.
You could feel the sadness through so much of it. Anyway,
and then that Rihanna song comes on at the end.
oh my God, how dare she?
In case you haven't been
Just-
kicked hard enough in the gut.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just in case you haven't cried hard enough, then go home just weeping. Anyway, I would be happy for Jamie Lee Curtis to get an Oscar. That's fine. I really want it for Angela Bassett personally. I also think Stephanie Hsu, I hope she did such a good job in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
But I know she's just starting out. I thought Carrie Condon was excellent in The Banshees as well.
Mhm.
And I haven't seen The Whale, so I can't speak to Hong Chau, but I have heard her performance is incredible.
Yeah, this category is super strong. So I frankly, I wouldn't mind any of them winning. They're all
me too.
deserving. Yeah.
No, that's a good way to look at it. Exactly that. I like that. That makes me feel
Yeah,
better.
me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
can
nice to have one of
relax.
those categories.
Yeah,
Where you
yeah.
just relax. It doesn't. I'm okay with anyone winning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not actively rooting against a single person in this
Yeah.
category. Incredible. Putting down my personal spite and vitriol is wonderful. What a great feeling.
And what about best directing? I mean, I know we're not really because the women were shut out, but I think it's going to go to Martin McDonagh, Banshees of Inisherin.
I think this is where the Daniels could get it.
Oh, well.
Because it's like a very complicated film to direct, I think. And I think people will, but also again, there's this hearing about how people are talking about how Steven Spielberg hasn't been nominated or won since Schindler's List, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And how can it be that he's gone the last third of his career with no wins? Honestly, it could go to him too.
It's a good guess. You can never guess. You can never overlook the sentimentality of Oscar voters. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope the Daniels win.
Yeah, I do too.
It was just the most creative movie this year.
And just the moving
Yeah.
pieces. Oh my God. And different types of filmmaking within one film. If you want a film that celebrates cinema, this movie brings 17 genres into one and makes it work.
Yeah. And mostly under the martial arts comedy umbrella, which is a very tough genre to succeed in.
Very tough genre. Martial arts comedy umbrella.
Yeah, very rare. The rarefied world.
I feel as a Cobra Kai fan and an Everything Everywhere fan, I know this genre pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can't really say if this pops because we don't know yet. Fingers crossed the Oscars
Doesn't have any slapping.
I mean, if you're going to, I would assume actually that there will be nothing but slaps all night, that they're just going to really lean into it hard this year. And it's going to be just
I recognize the Oscars are on a Sunday night, but if you're looking for a drinking game, every time the slap is referenced, take a drink.
Exactly.
But are we all just going to be waiting to see what totally unexpected thing happens? Because for the last few years, it seems like something just comes out of the blue and happens.
Yeah, I feel like this could be a year where it's a real yawn.
I think I think the Oscars are hoping for a real yawn, to be honest.
Not like
mistaken envelopes and slaps. I think they're just fine with having it be quite normal.
I mean, I just feel like they are still desperate for ratings, though. So,
well, I'm sure people will be tuning in a little bit more because of the slap, just to see what the fallout is from that this year.
That's the thing. If they
are they inviting Chris Rock back? Get a do-over or what's?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I feel like that's a component that we don't really know.
We do know that Jimmy Kimmel is hosting, and that's sure bland. But there you go.
That's a real yawn and a half. Well, they're halfway to their yawn.
Yeah, there you are. Exactly. And we'll be all watching for sure.
I will. Yeah. I gotta say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, are you going to be doing your traditional party outfit and fancy food?
I might wear my tux jacket for sure. Yeah. I've got a tux with tails, so I'll probably put that on. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I look a little bit like a guest on the Titanic, but maybe that's, sort of makes sense too.
Look, they looked great even as the ship went down.
They did.
That's a great metaphor for being an audience member watching the Oscars.
Yeah.
Yep. We love to leave our episodes on something we recommend. Lisa, do you want to go first?
Sure. I have finally found a copy of the book Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This is a novel by Gabrielle Zevin. And wow, is it quite an extraordinary book. It is about two friends who come to design video games. So what goes into the world of video game designer, what's this intricate friendship that this man and woman have starting out as kids. It's a really fascinating book. And the only problem is trying to find it. It seems that there was a bit of a mistake done on the publishing or the printing, I guess, because it was on everyone's 10 best of the year. That's why I wanted to read it. Yet I couldn't find it in a single bookstore. I finally ordered it and I have it in hardcover, which isn't usually my favorite way to read a book, to be honest. But
I agree.
I prefer a nice paperback, but it is in hardcover right now, and I highly recommend it. It's really quite good.
Oh,
Cool.
good. I've been thinking about getting that one too.
Good luck finding it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll borrow it from you after you.
Yeah, you can
finish.
definitely. Yeah, right when I'm
I was
done.
just gonna
Yeah,
say I don't want to be bold here, guys, but I think we've cracked this problem.
we have. It's done. There we go.
Yep. AG, what about you?
I can go next. I'm going to recommend an audiobook I listened to. It's called The Maid by Nita Prose. And it's essentially a murder mystery, but the of a maid working in a hotel who stumbles across murder. But it's very fascinating because the protagonist is neurodivergent, and so like sort of the figuring out of the mystery is told from her point of view, and the way that she looks at these things that like you kind of think like, oh, I wouldn't think that happened or it went like that, but you kind of come to understand that she sees the world differently, and she sees different angles to things that you don't expect. And so it's kind of fascinating to walk through a murder mystery from someone with a different point of view.
That's great.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Thank you for that. I'm going to recommend a music video. It's nominated for a Juno Award right now. It is called Different Than Before, and the song is by Amanda Sum, and she's also in the music video, and the video is directed by Mayumi Yoshida, and they're both Vancouver-based artists, and it's a really wonderful song, and it's also a really incredible video. And I don't want to give like a whole bunch away, but basically like a family is out having dim sum in a restaurant, doing some karaoke, and this like loud group of racists starts heckling their table, and one of the racists is played by our friend Morgan Brayton.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's filmed in Vancouver, made in Vancouver, and it's just a really like great sort of like music video that has like a fantastical element, but also this really like kind of powerful element where the patriarch of the family goes and confronts the racists and stands up to them like literally, and then there's like something that's like very moving that happens, and I don't want to give it away, but it's a great music video. Mayumi is such a wonderful director, and Amanda Sum's music is extraordinary, so everyone should go listen to it and watch the music video. It's called Different Than Before.
Amazing.
Excellent.
That sounds so
Yeah.
great.
Yay. So thanks everyone for listening and hanging out with us. You could listen to us and hang out with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You could rate and review us 5 stars.
5 stars always. Thank you to Andrea Gin, our 5-star general producer and co-host, as I like to call her. And thank you all for listening very much. It's always appreciated.
Good luck with your Oscar pool.
Oscar pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always lose. I'm like so terrible at it, but I always vote with my heart. That's my problem.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
do that. Don't do that.
No, I know. All right. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.